Good morning, professionals you trust. My name is Marne and I am with HRK. And last tip of the day, I went over some best practices and I was piggybacking on 7 Habits for Highly Effective People, which I did not write. Stephen Covey wrote, so I cannot take credit for any of this stuff. But this is how I use these things in my life. And so just to recap, there are 7 habits. Habit 1, be proactive, begin with the end in mind, put first things first. And that was what I covered in last time I did the tip of the day. Oh, I forgot to set my timer. And then today I'm going to go through, think win-win, seek first to understand, then be understood, synergize, and sharpen the saw. So I have to include a picture of Stephen Covey because it's so cute. So be proactive, just to recap. I have a sticky note on my computer, and every time I start a new adventure, I always have at least 4 or 5 words that I repeat on an almost everyday basis. So hopefully you guys can use this too. I think we use a lot of our devices and computer and everything to keep things fresh in our head, and it's not in front of our face. And so I feel like having something written down and writing down goals and things like that is really is very helpful. It's a little old school, but it's helpful to kind of see what you're planning with. So begin with the end in mind, looking at the future, making a 5-year, 10-year goal. When I look back at things that, again, I wrote down, I had 10 years ago that I wanted to have my own business. I opened my own business. And so kind of having those things in front of you, I think is really helpful. And looking back, I was like, oh, I completed this goal. I didn't even realize that I did. So put first things first, what's important and what's urgent. And then next up that I didn't cover before was think win-win. So I wanted to share my story again. I know that I've shared it a lot and you guys know, but when I sold my business in 2021, May of 2021, I stayed on board with HRK. And my role was the same thing I was doing before, helping her during COVID. I was just like processing benefits, and it wasn't satisfying to me, especially since I was now very involved in the community and doing a lot of stuff with the chambers and everything. And so I did a little stint at a hospitality group and realized that having 14 people telling you what to do all day wasn't really where I was at anymore, having been, in charge of my own business. So when I went back to Mia, I was like, hey, this needs to be a win-win. She really wanted to step away from the business in the sense of like every day and be able to take a vacation and do things like that. And my plan was that I wanted to, kind of go off of the momentum of my business that was still in infancy and take all of that stuff and be a part of the community and do that. So it's definitely been a win-win. And I got to meet people like Leslie, who introduced me to Professionals You Trust. And so I feel like this next step in my career has been win-win and getting to know all of you guys. So think first, understand, then be understood. I think the big thing with this is just to listen, to let people finish their sentences. And, I think this group is really good about that, like not making sure we all have our time, it's set, we don't talk over each other. And so I think this has really taught me a lot too, of letting people complete what they say. Synergize, work together, ask questions. Again, let somebody finish talking, ask questions, get to know them. And they said like put two heads are better than one kind of a thing. So, and then sharpen the saw, practice makes perfect. Again, write it down. That's my big tip of the day, is to have things right in front of you and see them. And then thanks for letting me share.